The first lesson of privilege signaling school is to believe in your own worthiness as a living being. This has ramifications. Oh, the ramifications. How can I best believe in my own worthiness as a living being? How could this have become so challenging? Here we are in any case. Believing in our own worthiness as living beings is maybe a statement we want to repeat over and over again. Do I believe in my worthiness as a living being? How do I most successfully believe in my worthiness as a living being? How do I uniquely and personally believe in my worthiness as a living being? How do I root my belief most deeply in my fundamental worthiness as a living being? How? Making videos is fun and interesting. How do I feel most resonant in my worthiness as a living being? My possessive, my worthiness. My worthiness as a living being. How do I feel most relaxed and competent in my worthiness as a living being? And if we find ourselves shaking, what could that mean? How am I already unfolding in my sovereignty as a deeply worthy living being? All of those little muscles and tendons and pieces, PACES, they all want to move. They all want to be activated. But it is not external influence that activates. It is interoceptive resonance with exteroceptive inputs, like those detoxification signals we're having such discussions about. Do you remember how your body is an antenna? I remember sometimes. all these ways in which the body knows it's best to move stimulates all these tiny cellular, particulate materials. All of them are interconnected, and some of them are very still for very long periods of time, and they don't get the contact that they really require. And it's so good to breathe oxygen into them and ask them how they'd like to dance for a while. If it's too scary, we can close our eyes. This is really a good way to access modes of contact with that which we require, with that which we require. I don't think this sentence is happening. How are we anchoring our worthiness as living beings? How are we deeply respecting our worthiness as living beings? And how are we remembering increasingly the mystery of who else are the living beings, especially in environments where we are being pressured considerably to forget the livingness of other beings. We like to dream expansively and consider the many forms of life we may have been taught not to recognize, or may simply have never been taught to recognize. And these living beings are also worthy living beings who dream contact with their worthiness as living beings. How do we, all of us, come to fruition in our worthiness as living beings? How do we bring the gifts we're bringing? These are important aspects of privilege signaling.